Cool. Welcome to the rematch press conference ahead of the All Whites' second Soccer Ashes game against Socceroos tomorrow night at Go Media Stadium. We're joined by All Whites head coach Darren Bazeley and All Whites captain Chris Wood. As ever, I'll kick off with a big question and hand over to you guys to ask whatever you want to ask. Baze and Chris, question for both of you. Obviously a good performance, but a disappointing result in the first game. What are you hoping to see from the second game?
It was a good performance. Ultimately, it was a game we went into wanting to win. We didn't. We copped that last goal, and that was disappointing for the team. So we get a second chance, and it is a part cup tie, so that was an away game. And we lost 1-0, but performed well. Now our job is to come back here, bigger performance, better result, and we're all excited for another opportunity and get another crack at the Aussies.
Yeah, I agree with that. It was definitely disappointing with the amount of domination and control we had in the game and chances we had in the game, something that we spoke on as a group so much about creating, that we weren't able to deliver. Thankfully for me, it's a two-legged thing, so I have a chance to put it right of my input of what I was able to do on the pitch. So we've done a great performance, but we need to do even better, raise it another 10%, which is always hard to do in a second game with flights, timing of turnaround of games, but it's something that we need to challenge ourselves to do.
Chris, what do you personally do when you have a game like that where you've had chances and do you go back and look at the video and think about what you could have done better, or is it just instinctive stuff for next time? What's your process?
I smile and move on. As it showed in that game, I had two chances. The second one came soon afterwards. If I was dwelling on the first one, then I'd have a worse chance of scoring the second one. Second one, the keeper's made a great save. And since I look back at the keeper's made, the first one was a good save as well. But for me, I need to be scoring that first one because that puts our team in the lead and would have made that game a lot more comfortable for us. So that's the burden and the pressure I bring on myself as a leader, as a captain, as our main striker at the moment. So just smile and move on and become better and put it right in this game.
Darren, what can you tell us about what you're thinking about selection?
We've had a good couple of days recovery from the game. We obviously travelled, got back, and everybody's recovered well from the game. So we've got no issues into selection. We'll make a couple of changes to freshen it up, but we'll never make wholesale changes because we're working on the bigger picture and ensuring that we've got the cohesion and connection that we've been working on for the last 2 years, really. But definitely a little bit of freshen up.
Would see this could be the last time you play at home before the World Cup, depending on that March window. How important is it that you kind of put on a show for the home fans?
Vitally important that we try and do well in front of our home fans because we want them to buy in and support us and be there for the long campaign. As we say, we don't often get to play at home. Luckily, in the last 12 months, we've been playing here a lot, so hopefully that's brought the buzz and the greatness around this side ready for the World Cup. It's important that we put on a display like Friday night, but hopefully 10% better.
Baze, that World Cup is kind of coming around fast. How much of an influence does that have on the decisions you kind of made today in the group?
I don't think the World Cup is definitely, it's coming, but that's for the future. Right now we focus on this tour, and we've always made decisions around selection of squads, around consistency, cohesion, whilst giving people opportunities, and we're also dealing with players unavailable through injury or through moving club and stuff like that. So I think we all know where the World Cup is and where those selections will be, and at the moment we're sort of just working through the next windows.
Chris, just generally, are you happy with the progress you're seeing this team making, and what kind of improvements do you think need to be made if you're looking ahead again to the future next year?
Look, I'm very happy with how the team's come on in the last 3 years. We talked about at the beginning about putting in foundations and bringing these players through as we had a younger team, giving them confidence and experience in the international setup. And I think the last 3 years has done that. And I think in the last 6 months, as well as the obviously playoff games and things like that, those games showed it, but we need to show it against big teams. We did it in most stages in June. We definitely did it on Friday night. but we need to back it up, obviously, October, November, March, and then pre-World Cup. So, yeah, we're progressing nicely. I think we're in a great stage. And it's about now consistency and performing against these big clubs, or big sides, I should say.
In terms of you, scoring 2 goals on the first day of the season, I can't remember any times you've done that before, but what does that do for your confidence starting the season?
Look, yeah, it's brilliant. Scoring for a striker is the ultimate goal and brilliant for confidence for any striker. So it's nice to get off the mark so early with that. And then a team and a side that done extremely well on the opening day and against Palace. Fortunately, we had the blip against West Ham, but that's hopefully all it'll be for us, and we bounce back ready to go with Arsenal next week.
Darren, at what point during the World Cup cycle do you stop giving players opportunities and just start playing your top team all the time?
I mean, it's tricky. We try to pick our strongest squad every tour. So you could say that started. Unfortunately, we've lost certain players that couldn't be selected, or there's some reasons around players joining clubs that we've talked about. So I think it's every single tour we will try and pick our strongest squad. So I suppose that's the answer. It's already started.
What about with your 11s though? Because presumably there'll be guys who leave this window without having taken to the field.
Yep.
Is that something that they just have to expect now as you get closer to the World Cup and look to work on your strongest combinations?
I mean, every single player here, wants to play. They all want to play. Unfortunately, we can only start 11 and bring on 6 subs. So, there's limited opportunities for players. So most of their opportunity is going to be done in their clubs. It's their challenge to perform every week at the highest level at their clubs, get moved to bigger clubs, perform at bigger clubs like Chris, like some of our other guys have done. That's probably their best way of fighting above some of the players we have, because when we come into camp, we don't train that much, and we're limited on who can play minutes. So it's difficult.
And Chris, the balance between the satisfaction of the way you played on Friday night, I mean, I can't remember an Australian goalkeeper ever being man of the match in a game against New Zealand. Gives an idea of the way the game played out. The satisfaction of playing well, but not winning the game. Is it a hard balance to strike?
100%. Yeah, it's not great, and it's not a great feeling for sure, because you don't want to keep saying, "Oh, you played well," without the result, and that's ultimately we need to bring them both together. Luckily, we've got another couple of windows to do that, but as we all say, it will come around very quickly. So we need to start doing it sooner rather than later.
And are you sensing within the squad now just a higher capability, guys all comfortable on the ball, the way that passing movements are done in tight spaces? Are you sensing an uplift in that among the all-white side?
I think so. I think that shows. I think it showed especially well on Friday night. They're a top 30 side in the world. They're the ones that we're going to be facing from now to the World Cup and in the World Cup. So we've been able to do it. They'll breathe confidence into the lads and show that we can do it against the big sides. So now it's about consistently doing it every single time we play them, and also raising a little bit more to get that win.
Chris, what would it mean to beat the Aussies tomorrow, given the rivalry, the history?
It'd mean a lot. It's been a long time. It's been talked about, and not scoring again has been talked about. So we want to put both of that right. We thought we should have on Friday night, didn't. So now we've got a second chance to do that and win something at the end of it, which is truly special to the heritage of us.
Scoring and kind of converting opportunities has always been kind of a big issue. Do you see this as a key area of improvement?
I mean, it's one of the hardest things to do in football. That's why the strikers get the big contracts, because they do that. We've scored goals. If you go back over our last 2 years, we've scored goals. It's harder against the harder opposition. We're definitely looking to play a certain way to create more chances, like we did on Friday. So if you go back, we beat Côte d'Ivoire in June, but we played better on Friday, if I'm honest. But we got a result there and we didn't on Friday, but our performance was better. So, that's the game's about moments. Chris sort of touched on it. The game is about moments. They had a chance, they scored. We had chances and we didn't. So there's lots to take from the game. But ultimately, we need to start winning games of football. But we know we're building towards those moments later in the year or later in next year.
Chris, what can you say about how you're managing the minutes? Obviously, you came off just after an hour mark on Friday night. You said having to be careful with your loading at the moment. So what are you available for tomorrow?
Look, there's under no illusion I've got a very big campaign coming up. Probably the biggest in my career. And I'm at a stage of my career, I'm 33 years old, and my body is not like these young boys, and they can't be rolled out, and it can't be what it was last time. It's a balancing act. The best thing is that I'm here and ready to play, and we'll be starting tomorrow, which is fantastic, and we just go from there and see how the game progresses, and just try and give us our all.
You said you're 33 years old, you've got a teammate now who's 17 years old, and he's got a couple of clubs in common. Have you had a chance to sort of talk to Luke, and what have you made of how he's sort of come to camp?
Yeah, definitely. He's settled in very well, which is fantastic. And credit to him as a person, as a bloke. It feels like he's been there a few times, and that's the credit to the way he presents himself around the team, interacts, talks, and how he plays on the pitch and training. He gets stuck in and he does the job right, and he's there on merit to be here. He's shown a lot to Baze to give him the confidence of being picked here. So it's fantastic to see. I remember when I was 17 and got picked, so it's a fantastic occasion for him to be in and around it. And I'm sure it gives him the challenge and the want to be here in the next window and the window after that, because if he keeps performing, he could be definitely pushing players out.
And just a word on Ryan Thomas, I think we all saw how he played on Friday night. What did it feel like for you though, having him back on the pitch?
It's fantastic. I mean, I remember what Ryan brought to the team 6 years ago. Haven't been able to see him play for a long period of time, so I was intrigued and looking forward to watching him play on Friday as well as being a part of it. I thought he brought a high level of quality, consistency, determination to the team, and something that's making one of our strongest areas on the pitch. And it's going to make a big challenge for the manager sitting next to me, because we have got some unbelievable talent in that midfield now, and that's only a great thing because it's the depth that we've shown now and the depth that we probably haven't had over the last 10, 15, 20 years. We've never had that depth that we have now, and to be able to make subs and make changes to impact the game is going to be huge for us.
Darren, any key factors tomorrow? Chris mentioned you got to raise it by 10%. Is there any key things for you?
I mean, there's definitely aspects of the game that we'd like to improve. We've gone through the video and looked at out of possession, what we did well and what we could tweak to make us even more effective. And then in possession today, we looked at quite a few things. And again, it's about trying to create more goal scoring opportunities, and then putting ourselves in positions to take those moments.
And Chris, just back to the open day again. Can you describe how that second goal unfolded from your point of view? And is that one of the more satisfying goals you've scored because the way your run kind of made that goal?
It's one of those. I think the connection made the goal. I have a very good connection with Elliot and most of our midfielders, and we talk about situations and moments in games a lot, and I think that's what it comes to. I think there's been a number of times where I've run and he hasn't passed, and he's passed and I haven't run. That never gets seen or never gets picked out. But when you have that connection with someone and you form that bond, that those moments happen. You know he's going to win the ball, you know he's going to find me, and I don't even need to wait for it, and I can run. And that's the same with players here. You need to form those connections because those are the things that can make it so powerful. Those connections I could have with Sapri, Eli, Callum, who's always behind me and feeding the ball. I need to have those connections, so then it becomes automated for us to just do it, and it happens.
Do you feel like those connections are growing when you spend time with all the guys you mentioned?
100%, yeah. It's definitely grown over the years, which is fantastic. And you just become on the same wavelength, so then it becomes so easy into the games.
Chris, just you haven't touched on it before, but you spent a lot of time back home in New Zealand the last 12 months, probably more than you have most of your career. I mean, obviously you've signed a lot of autographs, you've played football, scored some goals, but is there anything you sort of take away in particular from, I guess, the time you spent back here? Like anything, an interaction or any sort of moment that has really meant a lot to you, sort of coming back here and seeing how people sort of appreciate you? Coming
back here is familiar. It's home. It's that sense of safety and belonging. That's huge for me, and I think a lot of the boys. It's where I can be with family, see family, and connect on a deeper level. And it's something you don't get when you play international football abroad or at other places. So it's huge, and I think it's shown why everybody wants to come back and play in these games. It's a long way to travel for a lot of people, but it's why people want to do it, because New Zealand is our home. The fern on our chest means a lot to us, and that's why we do it.
How good is the kit?
It's fantastic. I've said it a lot. It's the best one for a long period of time. I would love it if we played in the World Cup with it, but I think Puma will have a lot to say with that.
Any further questions from anybody? Cool. If not, we'll leave up there. Cheers, Bays. Cheers. Woody. Thank you.
No
Thank you,
problem.
everybody.
Please.